This episode is about dealing with time and special effects. I got my start in the film industry as a special effects artist, and the tales that I'm telling in this episode have not only happened to me, but have happened to others as well. So let me set a scene for you. You've got somebody who wants to make a nice, slashy, bloody, gory horror film. They want all this great blood and effects and craziness, and they're all excited about doing it. They've got all sorts of ideas in their head as to what they want to see on the screen. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of money to work with, and they're in a real big rush to get this film in the can. Now, the first thing that anybody should do, whether it's a horror film or not, is do a script breakdown so they understand exactly what all is going to go into each scene. But this is especially true if you're doing a horror film with a lot of special effects, especially if they're in-cam effects, which we also call practical effects. In this scene, there's going to be a nasty decapitation with an axe, we're going to see blood splatter on a tree, and the head's going to roll away. Now, as a director, what you need to do very early on is find somebody to lead your special effects department. You need to find somebody who's familiar with the type of effects that you want done, whether it's practical or visual, and who you can relay your ideas to as to what you want to see on camera. This person should be able to give you an idea of how long it's going to take on set in order to film everything that you want to see. Many of us have more than one trick in our bag when it comes to any particular type of effect. So your effects lead might give you several different options on how an effect can be achieved. That will also give you some ideas in case you're not entirely sure what you want to see on the screen. Or if what you want to see on the screen is going to be way too expensive to do, your effects person should be able to give you an awful lot of cheaper alternatives. One thing that they're going to be very clear about is how long it's going to take to do these. Now keep in mind, as soon as you give them the go-ahead, they're going to get to work. They've probably got a lot of props to build, they've got a lot of things to create in order to make the effect work. They'll tell you how long it'll take them to make these things as well. They've got a lot of work to do in pre-production, and you can't rush them on that. Now generally when it comes to complex effects, which is usually requiring more than one prop or action to take place in order to achieve the desired look, they're going to need rehearsal time, they're going to need time with the actors, they're going to need time with the camera people and with the crew to let them know exactly what they're going to be doing, what needs to be shot, what needs to be in frame. All of this was taken into consideration when they gave you a time estimate on how long it was going to take to shoot the scene. So, when you have inevitably run over time with your schedule and saved your effects till last, you're not going to make anyone happy if you tell them that they have a lot less time to do their job than you had initially agreed to. Quite frankly, doing this kind of a time switch on them in the last minute is very likely going to result in them just literally throwing blood around. It is going to look ridiculous. It may look great to you when you're right there on the set and you're seeing all this gore and blood being thrown around and you're thinking, okay, this is great. It's just as good as if we would have shown what we had originally planned, right? Yep, I've heard this dozens of times. But there's a problem. What you see happening on set and what the camera sees are usually two very different things. So, the director who couldn't keep his timetable together goes to look at the finished footage and he's extremely disappointed because all he's seeing is a mess. He's not seeing anything anywhere close to what his vision was, and inevitably he's going to blame the effects person because surely it had nothing to do with him cutting their time down to a fraction of what he had originally promised them in order for them to do their jobs. So, if you're making a horror movie and you find that you're going a bit over schedule or you're running short on time, do yourself a favor. Sit down with your effects department and reschedule a day in order to perform those effects. That way, they get the time they need to do them right, and you're going to be a lot happier with what you see on camera. Fail to do this, and you're going to end up with very subpar effects, and you're not going to be happy, and neither are the fans of the genre. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Unconnected Filmmaker, and if you found this information useful and want to be notified when the next video premieres, just hit that subscribe button. Or if you have anything you'd like to see an episode on, feel free to comment below. See you next time, and keep those cameras rolling.